Hey, well. Hey, wherever you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Locker Talk Podcast with your host, Barry Bonds, founder and CEO of Locker-Report.com. And you guys, please go to all my social handles on Twitter at Locker_reports, on Instagram, Locker Report 100, all small caps, and also the Locker Talk Podcast 100. That's on Instagram as well. You'll follow me on Facebook at Locker-Report.com. And also Locker Talk Podcast, that's on Facebook. But you guys know, you know why I'm giving you these faces, right? Only because you guys have not subscribed to Locker Talk Podcast on YouTube. Go to YouTube right now. Go and subscribe to the channel. And if you say you love football, there's no reason why you're not hooked up with this podcast to find out some good content on the NFL that you will not see anywhere. I guarantee it. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, folks, we know that the NFL draft had just passed, a really successful 2022 draft, and we already talked about the outlisters from the LockReport-.com, the players that who we evaluated from the small schools, the guys that had made it into the NFL thus far, whether drafted or signed as undrafted free agents. But today, we're going to work on this platform right here. Yes, the HBCU platform. The HBCU platform had an excellent 2022 season. A lot of names, a lot of players had opportunities to get invites into camp. The best part is 4 HBCU players were drafted this year. Now, there was a number of players that was recorded or stated that had some kind of signing with a team, whether an invite to camp or if they got signed to a team as undrafted free agents. You know, there were some things that was peculiar about that number, but I'm not going to talk about that because there really wasn't a lot of accuracies there. But the only thing we know that after all the dust had settled, you see how everything's starting to calm down. After everything finally calmed down, this is what we have. Going into the roster for the training camps. As of May the 20th, there are only 10 players from the HBCU platform that had signed on to NFL teams entering the 2022 season thus far. So right now we just have exactly 10, which is the average. Now we know that we had a HBCU Combine and a Legacy Bowl, all great things that have happened for the HBCU platform. But at the end of the day, going into the training camp roster, it's at its average. It's normally average 10 players going into the current season, but they still have to make the team. So right now, it's at its average with its 10 players. And so we're going to jump into these 10 players from the HBCU platforms, and we're going to get right into it. For as you can see, I am excited, really happy for this brand of football to finally get even more recognition, you know. So it's showing a lot of change, a lot of progression from outside parties, but we still got a long way to go because the institutions, they have to do their part in making sure that their brand of football improves so the NFL scouts can take them seriously. Now, for the guys that was drafted, just get right into the 4th round. The 4th round jumped off with Joshua Williams, cornerback from Fayetteville State. 6'3", 197 pounds. And this year, it was a real big deal that a lot of big defensive backs had their names called, whether during draft or they came in as undrafted free agents. So it definitely was a theme there with some big cornerbacks. And this guy right here, Williams, is an example of it. Solid workout at the Scouting Combine, good footwork, showing that he is very consistent, always balanced, always in control. This young man from Fayetteville State is a solid player, got drafted by the Chiefs in the 4th round, 135th overall. Definitely going to help that team out in the back end where they struggle at with the secondary. This young man, as big as he is, he's definitely going to come with his skill set, make the Chiefs better overnight in the secondary. And then the Rams still bringing in some good talent, with this excellent talented player named Jacoby Durant from South Carolina State, 5'10", 180 pounds. Now, this young man has solid ball skills. He showed this at the Scouting Combine and also what he's been able to do on the field during his collegiate career. Solid ball skills, great anticipation, breaks on the ball very well. For his size, he has good length, very confident, dangerous as a blitzer, and he also have a good base, especially when playing bump and run, where he excels at. He's a very physical guy coming off the line. That is something that the Rams would definitely need, someone aggressive like him growing into their system. He has good speed, plays bigger for his size. Like I said, we just got finished talking about how big the defensive backs have been courted into NFL teams this year, he's definitely one of the players there that's pretty much the average size, but bring a whole lot of fight to the battle, which the Rams definitely need. For this young man is always in attack mode. So definitely watch out for Durant for the Los Angeles Rams, who was drafted in the 4th round, 142nd overall. The Detroit Lions in the 6th round, they drafted edge James Houston from Jackson State, 6'1", 241 pounds, chosen 217th overall. This young man gonna bring a lot of fire. He's gonna bring something to this team. I know Dan Campbell is gonna love this young man. The energy that he brings, he's gonna equal what the coach is gonna bring on the sideline. So this young man is gonna bring some heat, consuming that he actually make this team definitely have a solid chance in doing so. And then for the Chicago Bears, that really go after a lot of offensive linemen from the HBCU process. So they went that way again with Ajay Carter from Southern. 6'5", 300 pounds. They drafted him 226 overall. Let's see how he develops in that system, where he know that Latavius Simmons, who came from Tennessee State, is going to be a player there for the HBCU platform that's going to help bring him along. And so that brings up the players that were drafted. Now we're going to get to the players who I'm really excited about. What this show is all about, the undrafted players. Undrafted players is the bread and butter for Locker Talk Podcast. And here we go. We're definitely going to highlight these players from this, I would say, this perspective of the process for the NFL. Now, here we go. Now, like I said, big defensive backs was the theme for this year's draft. Now, this gentleman I'm about to bring up right now, Marquise Bell from FAMU. He signed with the Dallas Cowboys. I believe that pretty much, as far as the defensive backs within the HBCU platform, he was the better defensive back. He was invited to Indy at the Scouting Combine, had a solid workout, as we can see right here. This young man pretty much is the total package. He definitely did his thing collegiately. He stands 6'2", 205 pounds. His technique is off the charts. Great instincts, solid anticipation, know how to hit through the ball carrier. Very strong, excellent pad level, very aggressive, physical. He's fundamentally sound. Fundamentally sound means that he's not going to take no risk in causing his team to mess up on the play by giving up a big play or giving up a touchdown. He's not going to take those risks. But whatever decision that he makes or any anticipation that he has is going to be calculated, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. He has good hands, again, an explosive hitter, incredible leaping ability. My goodness, this kid gets up there. He can play against the run very well. He also can tackle very well in space, and he's very savvy. So watch out for this man, this young man. The Dallas Cowboys desperately need some help in that secondary. They definitely have some players they have brought in the secondary that's going to help the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, make sure you guys take heed. You have someone that you got to steal, so make sure you monitor this young man. This young man will help make this secondary a whole lot better. Something that desperately the Cowboys need. And when we talk about defensive backs from the HBCU platform, now this young man, Will Adams from Virginia State. First of all, I don't even know why he was at the HBCU Combine. First of all, he should have been in Indy. He's that talented of a defensive back, a player. At the HBCU Combine, I can sum up everything as being smooth. Everything was effortless for him. Caught the ball very well. Great leaping ability. This young man pretty much is the total package. He signed with the Washington Commanders. He is on fire. This young man is going to make the team. I'm going to call it out to that. The Washington team had always had good, solid defensive backs. We go all the way back to the Darrell Greens of the world and also the late, great Sean Taylor. Ken Adams put his name with the pedestal of these great defensive backs that had went through the Washington franchise. I really believe this young man is going to make it. Strong, very agile, very calculated, high IQ, tackles very well, know how to get to his points. He will fight, use the sideline very well as an extra defender. This young man, if you're going to go up against him, you have to make sure that you're ready. This young man stands 6'3", 195 pounds. This young man has what it takes to be in the NFL for a very, very long time. And then when we look at wide receiver, when you look at Shamar Bridges, who I saw up close and personal when he was at the HBCU Combine, coming from Fort Valley State, stands 6'4", 207 pounds, signed with the Baltimore Ravens. As we all know, Baltimore Ravens need some good pass catcher, someone that's big, someone who Lamar Jackson can target as Lamar Jackson continues to go through his progression to become even a better passer of the ball. He's already been an MVP of the league. Looking forward to seeing him do more. Want to see him get that MVP of a Super Bowl, and chances are that it can happen, but he'll need some legitimate guys around him to catch the balls. And this young man, assuming if he make the team, Shamar Bridges can be that guy that the Ravens have been looking for and who Lamar Jackson needs to help him and the team to get to the next level. This young man, very athletic, very agile, good hands, can catch in traffic. One of the things I like about him is that he's not afraid to block down the field. The Ravens is a run-based team. He's going to fit with that caliber team because this is what he does. He's a complete wide receiver. Looking forward to seeing Shamar Bridges make this Baltimore Ravens team. Now, one thing's going to be really interesting about this guy for the Cleveland Browns, who they brought in. Talking about Felix Harper. Now, Felix Harper, solid quarterback from Alcorn State, a good collegiate career. He stands 6 foot, 195 pounds. Now, his tangibles, when you look at him, the way how he playing, he's already on a squad where they have 5 quarterbacks, including Baker Mayfield. Now, we know Baker Mayfield not going to be there in the beginning of the season. Chances are Harper probably will not make the squad as a quarterback. However, he can make an NFL team as a player because he is a pure athlete. If he makes it on a team in the NFL as a quarterback, which is, I ain't gonna say highly doubtful, but something you don't want to hold your breath on, but it's something that I know that he wants to pursue. And if it is, this is what he can bring to the table as a quarterback. He's very electric, very mobile, agile. He does fit today's NFL style of play. Very elusive, quick, has escapability. He prefers to hang in the pocket to make his throws. He don't want to necessarily make plays with his legs. He prefers to make plays with his arm. He reads defensive schemes very well. Very fast, very solid speed for his position. High IQ. He's a student of the game. He'll digest that playbook, soak it up, and make sure that he'll get out there and be that field general that the team needs. However, if he does not make it as a quarterback in the NFL, that's all right. He's a pure athlete. All the talents that he bring in as a quarterback, he can do that on the field. Whether they're going to put him in a wide receiver position, no telling what he can do because he can't catch. He have good hands. This is one of the things I love about him is that he is willing to do what he has to do, not only to just make the team, but to also be successful in the NFL. This is something that Harper wants. This is something that he deserves. Seen him up close at the regional combine and at the Legacy Bowl. This young man had the talent to be an NFL player. Looking forward to seeing where he's going to land and what he's going to do in the NFL. And then to wrap up the rest of the players, we have Ryan McDaniel from North Carolina Central, 6'2", 204 pounds, who signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do during this roster build for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they are in the middle of their rebuild, and they bring in all these young talented players, and they bring in this other talented player. Talk about Deshaun Dixon from Norfolk State. Defensive end, stands 6'5", 253 pounds. This young man is explosive on impact. Strong hands, solid upper body strength, good feet, good speed for his size. When it comes down to tracking and closing, this young man, I tell you, he's like a freight train. When he tracks you down and he see where the ball carrier is, he is coming to take someone's head off in a good way, good football way, not taking somebody, not going to do no legitimate decapitation. So don't worry about that. That part's not going to happen. But this young man is going to bring it good uses of his hands, very instinctive, very consistent in his penetration. He can overpower opponents, very smart, not easily fooled, play with a high motor, and the best thing about it is that he can take on double teams. Not afraid to take on double teams. He can handle double teams. This is something that I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the next level. That wraps up the players who have signed with NFL teams as of May the 20th. They are currently on the training roster for all the teams in the NFL. Definitely want to give a good shout out to my man Marquise McClain, who's a wide receiver coming from Southern. Yes, he did sign with the Jets going to minicamp, but he did not make the training camp roster. But he did sign with the New Orleans Breakers of the USFL, who currently the league has up to 50 players from the HBCU on their rosters. This young man McClain is going to give you guys a heads up. Although he did not get locked down the spot for the training camp roster, but when the season is over for the USFL, I guarantee he's going to be on an NFL team. This young man had the total package. He's humble, he's smart, very fiery. He catch the ball in traffic, make the toughest passes, or make the toughest catches that anyone can make. Very diligent, a solid route runner, very disciplined, very hardy, very strong, not afraid to go over the middle, always a support system for his team, always there to rally. One thing you never have to worry about him is that he's definitely a quiet young man. He stayed to himself. He's definitely a team guy first. This is something that McClain wants. He's very under the radar, but he plays loudly. Everyone's going to know when this young man is on the team. And I'm looking forward to seeing his opportunity come real fast. And especially Corey Rockmond as well from Tennessee State, another defensive back that's with the USFL. He's going to make his debut in the NFL real soon. I really believe that these guys will, especially McClain, definitely believe in this young man. He definitely get his opportunity. Folks, there we go. The HBCU process looking pretty good going to 2022. Still on this average, about 10 players entering in the year of the training camp roster, which is pretty much dating back to 2019 since I've been covering the HBCU platform. So it's at this average. So far, so good. The outside sources for the HBCU Combine and the HBCU Legacy Bowl has been really strong, a really good strong showing, but it cannot stop with them. The schools and institutions have to step their game up, put into your facilities, put into your players. You just can't rely on the great names like the Deion Sanders of the world, the Eddie Georges of the world, the Hugh Jacksons of the world, the Tyrone Wheatleys of the world. These guys already done it. You can't just bank everything off of their name. You guys have to bank off your own name, put into your program, because if you do not put into your programs and the facilities and their players, the HBCU platform is not going to go nowhere. NFL scouts not going to waste their time coming to your schools. So make sure you guys put into it, and that way all parties collectively can help see the growth of the HBCU brand back in the NFL. I'm Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of Locker-Sport.com, and you guys follow me on any one of my social handles, whether it's on Twitter at Locker_Report, on Instagram, Locker Report 100, all small caps, and also the Locker Talk Podcast 100, that's on Instagram. You'll follow me on Facebook at LockerReport.com, and also the Locker Talk Podcast that's on Facebook. And it's a sunny day, you right in front of your computer. I don't know what's taking you so long. Just go ahead and
do it. Just do it.
You heard what the man said. Just do it. Go to YouTube right now. Subscribe to Locker Talk Podcast. Get all caught up in all this good information on the NFL that you will not hear anywhere. I promise you won't. Stay on par. Stay ahead. Get familiar with these names. Don't be like everyone else. Even sometimes commentators, they don't even know where these players come from. But you guys going to have a head start, especially if you follow Locker Talk Podcast. Everyone stay blessed. Continue to keep God first, for He's always the answer to everything. Keep on pushing, guys. Let's go. Here we go, folks. Woo!